Yeah, it's Continental 5. Now I'm live with Mikey T, the movie star. You heard?
Continental 5, man. I really appreciate you joining me tonight on the podcast. What is
Yo,
going on with you, G's?
staying out the way, working on shit, just getting to the money as usual.
Hell yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. Any new projects you're cooking up right now? I know that you had a couple videos right before, was it right before the pandemic or was it right in the middle of the pandemic?
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. That shit was the hardest shit to film because everything wasn't open. So, am I working on something? Yeah. I just got to get back up top to really kind of get in the studio and start picking shit or recording shit.
Any indication of a title or anything like that? EP, street album, something for iTunes, Spotify?
Probably an EP. I still haven't put out an EP, so I'm gonna just drop one and get it over with, or drop two and then focus on something else.
That's what's up. Good to hear you are still in doing music. You know, Continental 5, aka 25. Can you explain that to me, man? Like how you got the name or how you decided to come up with the name? You know, are you named after a Bentley? You know what I mean? Back then, when you first switched it up, I was like, damn, that's kind of like, Maserati Fox. You know, he has a car in his name. Or was it
Ferrari,
like a Lincoln Continental?
nah, the Ferrari F50. Everybody was using car names, so at the time, niggas kept giving me slack, like, yo, you only popping because you related to 50. So I was like, oh, word, all right, well, I just changed the whole name, and I wanted a Bentley at the time, so I said, all right, Continental 5. I'm gonna just run with that. Again, Fox had Maserati Fox, Ferrari F50. Everybody had like car names, so I just said, all right, Continental 5, and it stuck. It took.
Yeah, also the 2.5, it made sense when I heard it because it was like that's half of 50 Cent. Is that the logic behind the name, or am I just dead wrong about that?
Yeah, well, when he came out with 50 Cent and he was running with that, I didn't want 25 Cent. Me and Yayo was just joking one day, like, yo, here come the bag of chips, the quart of water, that's 25 Cent. You know what I mean? It just stuck.
So going all the way back, can you tell the people, everyone watching, where you're from? Were you from 134 and got Brewer, or was that just where you moved to?
No, I'm from 134 in So growing up, I was on 111 in Merrick. I grew up over there, but me and my father started to fall out like around early. So my grandmother just said, you just come live with me. And that's when I moved to 134. So I would go from one side of Queens to the other side and one side, just going back and forth. But I stayed on 134.
So I was going to ask what the family environment was like that you grew up in. You know, did you live with the
Um,
grandparents or the
yeah,
immediate family, mom and dad?
I lived with my mom and my father for a time. No, for most of my childhood. But by the time I got to like junior high school, like sixth grade, I moved from there. My parents, then I moved to my grandmother's house, which Curtis was there, my grandparents, my other cousin. There's a house full of people, and it was cool, man. It wasn't really like nothing crazy. Well, to me, everything that I experienced was okay, but to everybody else, it may feel like, well, damn, that's a lot of shit going on over there. But no, it was cool for me.
So as we all saw in the movie Get Rich or Die Trying, 50 lived in the basements while his other siblings lived upstairs. Can you verify this?
Yeah, yeah, he did stay in the basement for a time. But shit, I stayed in the basement after he stayed in the basement. So I mean, it was just a room, for real, for real.
Where did you sleep and how was it growing up in a household with so many kids?
Um, the household it wasn't. It was just me and Curtis, for real. It wasn't no other kids. Everybody else was aunts and uncles, and it was like maybe two or three aunts and uncles. But no, three people. Uncles, her, yeah, three. We all had. I mean, I had a room. Curtis had a room. Everybody else had to figure out where they was gonna go.
So how was it growing up in Queens, man, in the 80s and 90s?
Shit, the early '90s, not the '80s. Don't date me. Um, it was different because it was a different kind of energy around. Like on my side, you had Kev Leak, you had Mutt, you had Curtis, you had JoJo, and then on the other side down the block, where basically you had Preem, then 40 and all of them. You had Chad. So I mean, it was a different kind of. It was real. It was real aggressive. Not real aggressive, but it was real stand up shit. And you had to be a real stand up dude to even stand on certain areas. Like on my block, on 134, you got Rochdale, and then you got the back blocks. Now, to get money in anywhere of them areas, you get money in Rochdale, you get money in the back blocks. But to stand on 134 and say that that's my block, that's a different kind of energy. And it's only a handful of niggas that could actually do that or done that in that area.
How would you say Queens has changed from back then to, back in the days to now?
Gentrification, gentrification. The dude, as far as the guys, back in the day, it was I mean, I guess the rules is the same now. The difference is the money is not there. You know what I mean? Like back then, you go outside, and long as you got the block, then you are the man. But now it's like there's no block. You go and stand on the boulevard for what? Get your ass arrested. So back then, you caught name off how many blocks you had, how much money you had, the new car you got. Now it's like nobody's on the block to see you in that new car. So what you buy it for if you don't really, really want it for real?
Also, tell me about the Queens hip hop scene, how it was and how that has changed from then to now.
Okay, so my block is special. We had everybody, like we had I mean, we had the Lost Boys, Freaky Ty. Then you had my peoples. You had 50. You had Banks, Yayo. You had people who always wanted to stand on that block. So again, you move the drugs out the way and you put in rap. It's the same type of thing. You had to be somebody to be somebody. You just couldn't say, "All right, today I'm the man around here." No, we got to know you from something. So back in the day, it was dope because it wasn't niggas wasn't trying to be rappers. They were trying to sell drugs where I was from. So the rappers were actually rapping and famous for rapping. So you can go 10 blocks down and they know you over here from rapping. Now it's everybody raps. Everybody got a website. Everybody got a podcast. So it's oversaturating the market. I got out and did something totally different. I had to get money elsewhere because it's oversaturated, bro. So the scene now is I'm not gonna say it's corny, but it's like everybody's rapping. You know what I mean? Everybody. The nigga that was selling drugs, he's the rapper now. He don't want to sell drugs. The girl that want to rap, she running with a team over here. They may not be doing nothing, but they got the equipment in the house and they trying to come up with something. They killing time. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things where you got to be right place, right time. I would rather go back to that era, the early, like late early 2000s, before I go back to it now. It's trash now.